Some betting bank builders, hopefully, from Saturday's ITV races ahead of York the following week. Before myself and Jason get stuck into the races and point you in the direction of a few winners, which Jason's been doing a good job of the last couple of weeks, with Bucanero Forte doing the business over in Ireland last week, I remind you to like and subscribe so that every week on a Thursday or a Friday, we chat racing. We go through the ITV races and we give our opinions and our selections. Most of all, our naps that are on a lovely run. So we'll get stuck in. The 150 at Newbury, that's where we're going to start. 1 mile, 5.5 furlongs. Pinhole tops the market for Juddmonte, and Colin Keane back in the saddle for Juddmonte. Epic Poet for David O'Mara, who always comes into a bit of form this time of year with the York Festival around the corner. And to be honest, Jace, I found this a funny race to assess because most of these, if not all, have thrown in a howler or really sort of blown out in their last run or their penultimate run. Some are on a bit of a comeback mission, and the form is a little bit convoluted, to say the least. Pinhole tops the market. Where do you see him? Is he the one to side with? Is he the improving horse that can get the job done?
Yeah, well, it's whether you want to go down the route of the 3-year-olds who get a big chunk of weight for age, especially now we're up over the extended 1 and 5 mile. So Pinhole, he made hard work of it, didn't he, last time? I looked into the sectionals. So. He came home in 24 and a bit, so he wasn't going slow, but it looks really hard work to get away. And then he opened up and he sort of powered away for a wide margin success. You're right. Further, didn't produce in the Bahrain Trophy, but of course he finished in front of Pinhole prior to that at Ascot. Epic Poet bombed out drastically last time. I'm not sure what happened with him. And then you've got Ambiente Friendly and Candleford, and the pair of them ran together at Goodwood. So Pinhole sort of jumps off the page at you, but you hit the nail on the head, didn't you? Epic Poet, surely now he's going back up in trip. Small field, he can drop him. We know that it's the way he likes to be ridden. He's just get a little bit of a lead. They're going to drop him in and bide their time on him. I think he might be able to pick up Pinhole early on. For my sins, I backed Pinhole for the Betfred Derby before he made his return at Chester this year, thinking I was getting in front of the curve, and it hasn't really happened for him. He's going back up against the big boys today.
Yeah, I think he's short enough at the top of the market, mostly because of what you said first. He did make hard work of it last time in what wasn't the strongest of races. I'll try not to agree with you throughout this show like we did last week, because we haven't got Matt to intertwine, and it might get pretty boring for listeners. I like Epic Poet, as I mentioned, and with the O'Mara team having always a good turn of form this sort of time of year, I definitely think he's worth his shout. Further is one I do find interesting. My worry was and has that Ascot run really sort of buried him, because I think he had to be really, really tough there, and he blew out next time out. He has had a bit of time since then, and maybe he might just bounce back after a poor run. But I wonder, did that kind of get in his head, that Ascot run, because he had to be really tough to fight, and it was a big occasion. If he is back to that sort of form, I'd say he can run a big race. He's a bit of a juicier price. But yeah, Epic Poet unanimously to kick us off in the opener from Newbury. Next up, a lot faster, actually, 2:25, 5 furlongs they got to go. It's a class 3 handicap. Get Ready to Rumble tops the market for Jack Channon and Tom Marquand, who I reckon, having finished third and second on him the last, it's a good little sprint. There's plenty of usual suspects in there. Lil Guff has been kind to me in the past for the Kublers, winning a couple of Racing League races in his time, or going close. Rhythm and Hooves, another one who ran a big race last time out at Ascot. So as usual, sprinters coming into this, they could race this 10 times and have 10 different winners. It's competitive. What do we like?
Yeah, you've got a lot of horses that are reappearing in races that they've run in before or won in before throughout the card on Saturday, the different cards. Forster's managed to win this last year, and he pinged off in front. He has made all on a couple of occasions down here at Newbury. You're right, the Shannon team are red hot, aren't they? Rhythm and Hooves, both his runs recently have been really, really good. And I suppose King of Stars put up an excellent return to action off a bit of a layoff at Ascot last time. But I'm taken right down the bottom with Roach Power. Now, Michael Wigham is a real old shrewdy, and He picked this one up for 6,000 out of Tim Easterby's, was going through the grades really well, landed a couple of touches, and he ran okay in the Racing League at Chepstow, finishing third. Just feel he's got a bit of wriggle room. Now, he's not the type of trainer to run them when they're wrong at the weights, and he's £1 wrong. He's £1 out of the long handicap, if you like. So, but Holly Doyle booked. I saw this morning, he was around about 16-20 to 1. And I feel that he's just the wrong price. There's going to be a rocket pace on. He likes to go handy. He's got a featherweight on his back with Holly on. I think he's a huge each way player. Put it that way. When I looked at the prices, I thought he's definitely wrong at 16 to 1.
Love that. Right down at the bottom, carrying 8 stone 9, Holly Doyle in the saddle. Not the biggest surprise to see Holly ride a winner of some of these 5 furlong races, would it? I'm going to bookend the market then. You're at the bottom, I'm on top with Get Ready to Rumble. He carries, and we're going to bookend the weights as well. He carries 10 stone. It's a lot of weight to lug around, but he's been going close, as I said. He was a Goodwood winner, and then he was third when he jumped the crossing, and then second last time out in a hot race. And yeah, Tom's ridden him the last twice, and I reckon he's probably got off him thinking, oh, I'd like another go. So yeah, Get Ready to Rumble at the top, carrying 10. For me, Roach Power down the bottom at a big price, carrying 8, 9. And not only that, it's husband and wife going head to head. So it could be a great little battle.
We like that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. 3 o'clock at Newbury then, 7 furlongs, Class 2 handicap. Classic, who gets many mentions, tops the market. He got his day in the sun at Sandown and then was second last time after not quite getting home. Behind 2 Tribes, of course, who then went on to win the Stewards Cup at Goodwood. So he has obvious form lines to put him at the top of the market. Jumbie for Eve Johnson Holton, who's been having a good time of things of recent. Cracking Gold for Clive Cox. I quite liked the look of him again off top weight, carrying 10 stone in one of these sprints. Good little races, Jason, isn't it?
Yeah, not a bad little handicap. I mean, although he's not as good as he once was, Jumbie looked like he was coming to the boil last time. I thought that was a fair effort from him. So he's got to be respected. We know that he goes well down this particular venue. As you mentioned, Classic, when he's had it his own way up towards the top end, he's been very, very hard to pass. And he bolted in at Sandown. And you're right, real good form, good run. Maybe just the freewheeling nature here at Newbury, provided the rain stays quick, that might suit him. I'm hoping there's a strong gallop on in here. You've got Cracking Gold for me, who was going through the grades and probably looked like the 7 furlong discipline is going to suit him. It's that real intermediate distance, you know. Over the mile, you get a chance to drop in, find a rhythm, pull out, and really go and pick up. Back down over 7, I always remember one of the 800-meter runners saying, you know, it's like that in athletics. You've got to be prepared to run ugly. It's one of those, right? You know, all the way. There is no let up on the way through the contest. And Cracking Gold looks like he's suited to it. Very, very good effort by him at Goodwood off the back of that win. Lumping top weight. One of the last times we'll get to see David Probert before he disappears off to Hong Kong. And Sonic, as he's affectionately known because of his awful haircut, he will, well, it's a cool haircut, actually. He can rock it. I think Cracking Gold's a bit of a player.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I think you're right. He's gone up, I think, £6 for those 2 efforts, but they're very decent efforts and they warrant the rise up the ranks. And in a race like this, you can take advantage of just firing away in these sort of handicaps. So I do like Cracking Gold, and one that somewhat ties in with Cracking Gold, as he was behind him previously, is Cogitate. He's got a bit of a turn at the weights. Cracking Gold's going up, he's coming down. And I just think the trip might be the key to him. Billy's on board and has ridden him in what was probably his best effort over 7. He's been racing at the mile and he just doesn't get home. So back down to 7, a little marker on the July course that day. I think he might run okay, but he just doesn't strike me as a winner, unfortunately, for the Charlie Hills team. He might run with credit, but he doesn't look like he quite wants to get his nose in front. But having mentioned Cracking Gold, I think he definitely deserves a mention too, because he's around the 16 to 1 mark and 7 furlong his trip and better off at the weights. you'd be silly not to at least give him a look on your race card. So that's 3 o'clock. 3:35, the Hungerford Stakes, Group 2, 7 furlongs, More Thunder. Tom Marquand climbing the ranks. What a horse to inherit from Sir Michael Stoute. Hey, he's been, I know he got just beaten, brutally unlucky at the Royal Meeting, but bar that, he's been foot perfect and is climbing the ranks. He does, however, step into much deeper waters, Jace. Can he keep climbing the ranks? I think this is tough for him. It's a big ask.
Yeah, it is a big ask. How much do we think? And it's one of those impossible questions. From where he was drawn in the Bunbury Cup to come right back around the field, come through and manage to get up on the line. And all right, he made hard work of it. We know that he won by a pixel, but he got the job done. This is a completely different test, isn't it? You know, we're going to have Spy Chief, who I think ran sneaky well in the July Cup over on the far side. He gave a lead to the eventual winner. You got Witness Stand, who was the first sort of big winner, Saturday winner for the Newland Insole combination at Goodwood. So I think that he's a bit of a player. But we did get 1 or 2 funny results at Goodwood, didn't we? Where they were handy.
That was
over them
funny old race as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's that
not
sort
to
of
take
feel.
away from the winner, but somebody that was stood next to me in the paddock, who will remain unnamed, said, "This looks like the Magnolia Cup."
Yeah.
the way the field was split. Some of them were just on the front end bombing along. It was a funny watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a strange one.
Not to take away from the winner, of course.
No, of course. And we don't listen. Jamie Insole, we call him. We call him the best hair in racing. He's got a fantastic barnet, hasn't he? Looks like he just gets out of bed, and it's fantastic. Slick. Me being jealous, old man, going a little bit thin on top. Do you know what I mean? So I notice things like that. Anyway, I don't think he's going to win this time. Alianabi is very, very good. He's a one-time Guinea horse, 2000 Guineas horse. It hasn't really happened. He can be a little bit in and out. I think they got a new combination, tongue tie and blinkers for him. So, you're going through them and we come back. I come back to More Thunder because I want him to be better than this division. I want him to continue that climb up the ladder. When he was winning over 6, we were all in the camp saying 7 furlongs is going to suit him. He runs over 7 in the Bunbury Cup, and he only just gets up, and we go, "Oh, did he do enough? Is he going to be that superstar?" I think it was a great effort, and the leap from the pond into the sea for him today, from a mark of 103, I think he's good enough.
Yeah, I love that. I love it when they do have to step up, and you get to really see what they're made of. And you're right, he didn't do it the easy way, and it's not an easy track either to do it the hard way on the July course. So it was a very big effort and a valid effort. So maybe that partnership of Tom Marquand and More Thunder will be a winning one again. I'm going to give a shout to King's Gamble, who I thought put a massive effort in on his comeback run here last time out behind Rage of Bambi, who's also reopposing. I mean, King's Gamble has group form behind Lead Artist previously, but that's probably what I'm less interested in, and more interested in the fact that he could come back into a race of its nature that he did after however many days off, a long time off, and run second after stumbling out the gates in the Hackwood. And Rage of Bambi is a decent horse. I just think it was a massive effort on his comeback run, and provided he can improve for that, hopefully he does. I'm not sure what issues he had to overcome to get back to the track, but I think he's a very fair bet. So King's Gamble on a comeback mission for me, and More Thunder climbing the ranks. Of course, Jace, another Haggis, and the Haggis groupie flying the flag weekly.
They're in form.
Right, let's jump over to Ripon, shall we? They are.
They couldn't be. They are.
No, you're right. You're very right. Where we're going at Ripon then, the 2:45 is where we're kicking off. We've got a couple of races to look at here. Both handicaps. It's the Silver Cup, Class 4, 6 furlong. And although the market's tightened up a touch at the top, with Novello Lad now just moving into clear favourite, this was looking at about 10 to 1 the field when I opened it up this morning. Don't get much more competitive than this, or harder to find a winner than this. Horses mixed into the sort of mid-70s, all of them racing against each other up north countless times. It's an absolute muddle, Jace, of a handicap.
That's it. I'm not going to use that. Or they say all the best ideas are stolen, don't they? It's a bit of a muddle. I think that is a good way to describe it. There's one Airman has dropped from 90 down to 75, but he's shown absolutely nothing. Could he possibly take a little bit of a step forward? And I'm sort of loath to put up Fortimore, but he's had 6 wins here at this venue. He goes well for Paul Mulrennan. Ben Haslam is a chip off the old block. His father, who's sadly no longer with us, Patrick, was an absolute superstar with loads of multiple winners down the years. And he used to get those track specialists that kept on coming back. And at the age of 9, for him still to be fully effective is quite remarkable. But off a mark of 79, and you're right, I was looking at the same as you, 10 to 1 the field. He was around about that. He's drawn in 13. I think it's the right part of the track. He'll be coming up towards the stand side rail. I would give him a squeak in what is a muddle of a handicap.
A proper muddle. I'm going to side with a trainer. Which one I think has the best chance, I'm unsure, but some strong jockey bookings. Ruth Cars, I was lucky enough to pop in there actually. Was it earlier this year or the end of last year? And interesting, you'll obviously know this, Jace, how she trains her horses. She is massive on turning them out. She has every horse turned out almost every day. She throws, plenty of them in the same field together. She believes that's the trick to getting them happy and getting them right. And although she says a few of them may squabble from time to time, which isn't optimal, if they've got a race coming up, on the whole, if you can manage the groups and keep them turned out, then she loves to do that. And I do remember she banged in a winner, didn't she, at the Ebor meeting last year? And she had a winner yesterday and a couple last week. So for a relatively small yard, but still one that definitely bats above its average, I think she's in a good bit of form. And she runs 2. Woodstock, with a very positive jockey booking of Jason Hart on board. He's really effective in these handicap sprints. He's so tough, isn't he? A horse like yours or the first you mentioned, a bit of a decline, but that does mean he's down to a mark of 78. He last won off 80, and he has ran well when he sort of hits around this 80 mark. So Woodstock, despite not showing loads, is down to a winnable mark. And then Cat's Bob, a bit higher up the market, the second of Ruth Cars. William Parr takes off a valuable £3. He was 2 lengths fifth here last time out, and he's been mixing it in sort of class 2 handicaps. This is a class 4 and might just be a bit easier. So I'm hoping for a positive race for the Ruth Carr yard. And my selection in that, or one of, tips me on to our next race, the 320 at Ripon, because Mr. Socks in here for the Easterbees was a winner of that race here last time that Ruth Carr's Cat's Bob was 5th in, and I think he might, well, I'm hoping if one goes in, they both might. What do you like here, Jace?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is when you go through the pace map, it looks like an equal split. So although your horse, Mr. Socks, is drawn low, he appears that he's got a little bit of boot with him. Intervention's really, really quick. Azure Zane likes to pop along, and also City Walk, who goes there for Godolphin, and Saeed bin Sarur. He ran at this venue on one occasion, was punted off the boards and ran an absolute clunker. So that's a bit of a worry for him coming back in, but could he be well treated, if you like? On you
wouldn't see too many, would you?
No. He hasn't run too many up there.
Wouldn't see too many Godolphin, Saeed bin Sarur. No.
Yeah, him throwing up there.
There's a horse I wanted to mention actually and ask you about. I think I'm about 5 seconds behind you, Jace. we're chiming
You're flying.
in.
You're going great. You're going great. Every time I'll make sure in, it's perfect. I will say, yeah, City Walk is a fascinating runner, but not for me. One of the old favourites I like in here, Nostrum. He's come down an awful long way from 114 down to 104. But he hasn't shown anything. And you got horses that have climbed all the way through. Al Zahir has been winning and whatever. I think First Folio is going to run a huge race. I like the angle in. Tom Keeley-Marshall taking off the £5, ran well for this pilot, got a goodish record at the track, and he's drawn high. Now, I'm not saying the horse you mentioned earlier on can't win from low because there'll be an equal sort of split pace-wise, but I just love that stand side rail. So First Folio, he'd be the idea of the great St. Wilfrid's winner.
There we are. I've got to just dive a bit deeper into Nostrum. What a fascinating and I don't know how to quite sum him up. I mean, he's ran in Group 3, Group 2, Group 3 the last 3 times and has done nothing since moving some to Michael Stouts. But he was even a tricky one to follow before that, wasn't he? He's from 111 or 114 official rating at his peak down to 104 and in a handicap at Ripon 2 years ago. You'd never have expected to see him here, would you?
You'd expected him to go and win on the bridle coming down here. That's the thing, you know. But then I look back at the run at Goodwood. If you watch it, he was leaning badly right. He never sort of went and you thought, oh, he's going to take off in a minute. He's going to go and finish. I don't know. I don't know where he's going to end up.
No. Yeah, fascinating. See how he gets on. I guess there might be a race for him at some point in the future. So the Great St Wilfrid, Mr. Socks for me, Jace.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with First Folio. He'll
First
do for me.
Folio.
I like the fact that the young lad takes off what I think is a valuable 5, and he's drawn well in stall 13. Or I think he's drawn well. This pace all over.
Cool. One race at Newmarket then before we get into our best bet of the weekend, which, as I said, is on a fairly good run from everybody in the team, which is always nice if we can shove you in the direction of a few winners. It's the 205 at Newmarket on the July course. I love the July course. 6 furlongs, class 4 handicap. We've got a decent field going to post. Anything that you particularly fancy here, Jace?
Yeah, well, the reason this is one of the lovely races, we forget because we have so much racing, we forget about the beauty of the thoroughbred, and it's the Greys race. And they run it every year on the July course, and it gives everybody an opportunity to go. Everyone loves a grey, don't they? You know, you ask people who's their favourite horse or whatever, Desert Orchid would come out on however many occasions. Just a lovely sight to see them galloping down the straight there. The 2022 winner was Strike. He reappears in here. The 2023 winner was Silver Samurai. He reappears. And last year's winner, Archduke Ferdinand, 2024, he reappears in here. So they got their old regulars coming back. We do have a Haggis runner. Is that going to go and win on the bridle? Probably. But the one for me, I've had a little look at some of the form from the Racing League, and they're fiendishly competitive sprints, aren't they? A low mileage improver for Clive Cox. I'm hoping it's a big weekend for him because I like one of his over at Newbury as well. Addison Gray caught my eye, staying on from the back of the pack in the sprint division at Chepstow last time. So he was a £60,000 yearling, not cheap, low mileage. He's 1-2 from 4. I think he might just go in again, and we get the added bonus. Jack Nicholls takes off £7.
Very nice. Yeah, I missed that, to be honest. The Grey Horse race. I don't know if it was a sponsor name, but it actually is. If you're looking at the race card, a race for grey horses. My mind's probably already up in York this time of year. And obviously well named as well. You know, Addison Gray is in there.
Yeah.
Silver Samurai, obviously got his name, I'd imagine, from the way he looks. We've got any others? Yeah, a couple in there that are... well named, and everybody does love a grey. I've got a mate that says never back a grey. They're beautiful, but he can't back them, so he'd be stuck in this race. What do I like? A horse that raced in the Racing League and did absolutely nothing, Jace. Maybe because it was too competitive for him, but Sensorium for Dylan Cooner. And I think I hold the opinion that when Dylan Cooner likes one, even if it doesn't happen straight away, they usually do come to fruition at some point. He obviously had some good form as a 2-year-old. He raced in that Goff's yearling sale race at York behind Diligently and Arizona Blaze, who are arguably both gone on to be group horses. I mean, his season doesn't look like it will be thus far, but David Egan's a strong booking for a horse that does hold some early form. And as I said, Dylan Cooner has a habit, I think, of, well, he's very transparent, isn't he? He's always very open about if a horse he thinks is good enough, he'll say it. And I feel like he thinks that this horse can win a race. So let's find out if last time out was a bit of a blip or if the Racing League was just too tough for him. So Sensorium for me in the Grey Horse race, be worth tuning in for on ITV on Saturday from Newmarket on the July course. That sums up 3 tracks. It sums up a little bit of York, which we'll look forward to, and I'm sure we'll cover between the 3 of us across some channels and mediums, but where are our listeners and viewers going to make their cash go that little bit further for York, Jace? What's the best bet?
Well, at the prices, I definitely going to be having £1 each way on Roach Power for Michael Wigham and Holly Doyle. You know, when you see one, you think that is the wrong price. 16, 20, somewhere around there would be the each way play. And I want to know, Haggis, he's got one in here, More Thunder, running off 103. So he's got to run a career best to get by some way in here. He's gone through the grades. He arguably should have been unbeaten coming in here. Would that have made any difference with his price? I don't know, but he's off the back of a big win at the Bunbury Cup. If you want one I think is rapidly improving, I think More Thunder is going to show a career best by some way, but I like Roach Power at 20s each way.
There we are. Roach Power, huge price for Jason. That's in the 225 from Newbury, the Sprinters, and then More Thunder, a horse that he's been with pretty much throughout this season in the big one, the Hungerford Stakes, which comes at 335. I'll take you one. Come on. What do you win yours? You've been going I'll take you one.
Classic.
I have. King's Gamble. We'll have a match bet, shall we? Because they're both tight enough, similar sort of price. I think it'd be a cracking race, this, the Hungerford Stakes over 7, and two tough horses as well. So yeah, King's Gamble for me to take on Jason Tom Haggis and More Thunder. Why not? As we're chatting York, was there anything that jumped off the page? When I was having a flick through, I'd probably give a shout to Pride of Varus, who has been very disappointing, but he did come on the scene at York, and York is a proper horses for courses or courses for horses track, isn't it? So his name was one that sort of jumped off the page at me. And then you did mention Lady Imran as well, getting a fair bit of weight in the Nunthorpe. She was very impressive and has all the correct form lines to go and be a superstar. So at the very early stages, just having a flick through, there were a couple of names that jumped at me.
And that story, if Lady Imran was to go and get it done, it's Joe Fanning on board, isn't it? You know, and he's the elder statesman of the jockey's room. I don't know if you know, when you sit in the weighing room, you start as an apprentice and you start off down the bottom end over there, depending on where your valet is. And it goes up in seniority all the way round through in your group if you're with your valet. So you move closer to the door. And Joe must have been sat by that door for ages waiting to go and seeing everybody else disappear out the door and not come back. So it'd certainly be a lovely story if he managed to get the job done.
Love that. Thanks very much, Jace. As always, best of luck to our viewers wherever you're watching. Enjoy the racing this Saturday. Enjoy York next week. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to our Betfred YouTube channel for all of our horse racing updates. See you next time.